There he is, the future. Ian, how are you, my friend?
Good. How are you, man? It's good to be back.
It is
How's
good to
things?
have you back. Oh, things are great. Congratulations on another win. Can I ask you this off the top? Now, 3-0 in the UFC, rank them for me. Which performance, which fight do you like the best? Which do you like the least?
Eh, In order of the fights, it's been MSG, Jacksonville, and then Vegas. They've been in that order. Every time I've progressed, I like learning, I like growing, and I like going out there and proving that I have a better skill set. And every time I've competed, every time I've showed up, I've gone out there and showed that I am better than I was before. And that's what I like.
Okay, so to be clear, this one in Vegas is number one, right? Like you're saying three
Yeah.
would be okay. All right, I just wanted to make clear. I thought maybe you said that MSG was number
But let
one.
me ask you, do you think I've looked better every single time I've competed?
100%. You know, I gave you an A minus last time. This time I gave you an A. All right, unlike other people.
Hey, good. That's what I like. Hey, look, as long as I win, I'm happy. But when I can go out there and put on a show for the fans, and I can be in that octagon and enjoy the fight and enjoy the chess game and the mind battle that me and my opponent are having in regards to movement and cage control, because everyone thinks when they're in the cage with me and I'm moving around the outskirts that they're in control because he's walking me down when they're not. If you watch every fight I'm in, I control where the movement goes. I control where that person in the center is. So every time I've been in that cage, I've shown how I'm more dangerous. I've got more skills that I've added. And I like that. And then the next one will be my best one. It's just the way it is.
So in the first one, there was the moment where you got hit a little bit and everyone made a big deal about that. Second one, I think that there was some expectation that you would finish him again. This time, I feel like there was no criticism whatsoever, right? There was nothing. I mean, obviously, you're going to nitpick some stuff, but overall, I think like the entire body of work was the most positive and the most well-received one. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, I've received amazing support for every single one of my wins. But I absolutely agree with you. Like, this is the best performance that I've had to date in that octagon. And I feel like the fans seen it. Like, everyone I talked to afterwards, they were so happy with like my fight in and of itself. Like the fact that it was fun, it was enjoyable, it wasn't a boring fight. The combinations that I was throwing, the energy around the stadium was brilliant. So yeah, I would say that you're absolutely right in what you're saying. So it excites me for more.
And it's amazing. Like they are putting you MSG, big freaking deal. International Fight Week in Vegas. Like they're 3 fights, all pay-per-views, all big cards, full arenas, tentpole events. I'm assuming you're feeling the love here, right? You are feeling the love from the promotion.
Yeah, look, I said it to Sean Shelby after I ran into him after the weigh-ins, and I just shook his hand and I said, "Hey, I appreciate everything you're doing for me." I said, "I know I show up, I put on a show, I get the fans excited, I do a lot of media," and he just smiles at me and said, "Hey, you're doing great things." And I said, "And we're not going to stop anytime soon, and I appreciate the help."
For you to be in Vegas first time, International Fight Week, an event that, you know, another Irishman has had incredible success. What did that mean for you?
To me, Vegas was my dream. Vegas was my dream to fight there. I never realistically thought MSG would ever be that kind of like first 3 fights. So the fact that I made my debut there, it changed the whole thing. But Vegas was where I wanted to be. Vegas was the fight that I wanted. And I done it right. I got myself my little house for the week rather than being in the hotel. I done it the right way, the way that I envisioned it when I was a kid, watching Conor on the Rise and all these fighters that were living out in their kind of their houses and going to fight weeks and doing all the UFC embedded. And I got to live that week out in my reality. So it was phenomenal. The fact that I got married there, the fact that just Vegas is special. And I cannot wait to go back and put on another show there.
Yeah, I saw that you were at your own house. I was like, man, typically 24-year-olds who are 2-0 at the time in the UFC, who are 9-0, are staying at the Fighter Hotel. Did you get any pushback for this? Is this just the thing where you tell the UFC, "No, I'm not staying," and that's it? Or would they prefer that you stay at the hotel?
They had I didn't hear anything about it, so I didn't I got no negativity or anything back from the UFC in regards to it. The reason I wanted to stay there is Vegas is obviously very dry, it's hot, I don't like going into the casino. Like when you go into a hotel, you've got all the casinos, people, there's smoke, there's aircon, and I get nosebleeds very easy in Vegas. And I was like, you know what? That's very kind of like, it's very like kind of that hyper-stimulation energy.
Yeah.
Of like, just when you walk in, you hear people, everything about it. I was like, I want this week to be like good energy, good vibes, a calm house where like, I don't have to walk 5 minutes to get a microwave to heat my food up. I walk down the stairs or I walk around the corner and I put my food in the microwave or I cook myself some food. And that was important for me. The energy of being able to go, right, I'm going to walk upstairs from being sat down on the couch and sit up a bed. It gave me that kind of homely feeling. And that, to me, was massive. And I feel like I will continue to do that now because it's right and it works. And I feel like I learn from stuff like this. It's like, right, that energy's right. We can make that better now. We bring more friends into it. You know what I mean? We get that energy, like that high, beautiful energy that people bring where it kind of distracts you from the fight, but it also doesn't because everyone's talking about it and how we're talking about training and everything. It gets you laser focused while not focusing on the fight itself. And it's a beautiful thing. Any
golfing out there?
I had a really bad experience with golf recently. I was meant to go play called Celebrity Sweat. It's a golf comp that the UFC do work with. I was meant to fly out the week before my fight to Denver and play golf with Justin Gaethje in a competition against like NFL guys, I think it was. Anyway, I was at the airport, went to the airport, my flight got cancelled. They were like, okay, you can come back tomorrow morning, we'll try to get you a flight. I was like, I'm not going to make the competition now. So I was like, just get me my bags, I'll pick them up in the morning. Stayed the night in Miami, went to go back and get my bags the next morning, and my golf clubs were sent to Denver anyway.
Oh.
So yeah, I was fuming.
Oh no!
I will get golf in. I'll go back. But the number one club I want to play, the number one course that I want to play, is in Vegas. It's Wolf Creek. It looks stunning.
Wow. What is it about? Like I'm not a big golf guy. What about it is so special?
It's built in the middle of the mountains.
Oh wow!
And it's just absolute like even if you had nothing to do with golf, like just the beauty of it. I'll send you a photo of it after this.
Sounds amazing.
It is absolutely stunning.
Man, I want to see you golf with DC. DC's a big golfer. I think you can teach him.
I already told DC. I said to DC, I'd absolutely smoke him. And he said, not a chance. I was like, dude, you can do whatever you want. There's no way you were beating me. There's not a hope in hell. Did you see afterwards? I said to him, I went over to the broadcast because they didn't give me an interview. And I was like, what the? And then I went over. I said, hey, DC, we need to golf. We need to do it. I need to show you what's up.
You would be a minus 500 favorite. I have no doubt in my mind.
Look. I know it, you know it, and he knows it.
Amen.
But he just has to play it up a little bit. That's okay. People can do that. That's every opponent I've ever had in my life. They tell everyone, they tell all the media how they're going to find holes. I think his head's bigger than what he actually is. It's like, well, every time I've been the one that's right. Yeah? Every time I've said, I'm going to win, I'm going to go out there and show that I'm just better than the guy and that nobody can beat me. I haven't been wrong.
Gabe said that before the fight. Did it annoy you?
No, everybody says it. It's just the same things over and over. It's recycled at this point. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to take his O. I'm going to gift him a loss. I'm going to be the guy that shows the world that he's not as good as he is. Well, actually, I'll tell you this right now. I am better than what I think I am. I'm better than I fucking know I am. And the whole world's going to see it. And I think this weekend, everybody in the MMA community is seeing how good I am. And that still is so much more to give. And that's what's exciting about it.
Now, what about this no post-fight interview? I mean, how do they drop the ball like this? What happened? Was it just a time thing?
I assume so. I initially, when I noticed that no one was coming in, I assumed it was a time thing. And then obviously after the fight, when you know that, in hindsight, when you know that Cowboy is going to retire, that makes sense. But still, don't take the mic out of my hands. That's where I can absolutely get the crowd riled up and get everyone ready for whatever it is planned in my head. And it would have been a massive big shout out because when I got on that mic, I was going to say 10-0, undefeated. I think it's about time we bring the UFC back to Dublin Ireland, baby.
So were you bummed?
A little bit. I mean, that like for more. I understand why, and I like when you think about Cowboy, and it's like, all right, I can sit down and go, do you know what? this is a man who's done so much for the sport.
Sure.
A man who's put on so many shows. I can swallow mine for what this is, but that's a big bit for me. Like, that's when I get on that mic and I can like bring that energy to the crowd and I can get people excited, and then like that for me, that goes through my head what I'm going to say, because that leads on to the next fight and it gets people excited for what's next to come. And I don't know, that just a little bit, but it makes sense.
By the way, it's not a crazy thought. Like, the thing that we always heard in the past was that there wasn't a big enough arena, right? There's Croke Park and all that. But now, given the fact that you're 3-0, your stature in the sport, like, I could see a fight night headlined by you easy at this point. Do you feel like this is a possibility?
Yeah. I feel like the Irish fans have earned it and deserve it. When you look at the fact, like, the body of the work that the Irish have done for MMA, it's awesome. And I know I can absolutely put on a show and bring that energy to Dublin Ireland, bring that energy that we love and we thrive off. The Irish absolutely love fighting. They love the UFC. And we just haven't had it in a long time. And I've said for a long time, I want to be the guy to bring them back. And I'm this close. All it needs to do now is happen.
Yeah.
10-0, 24 years of age. I talk the talk. I walk the walk. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, Bellator's there like every 6 months. Why can't they go for an event headlined by you?
I absolutely don't see why they wouldn't. The UFC have. I tell you what, there's a lot of fighters that would love to go and fight in Ireland as well. So you're not going to be short of people throwing their names to be in that card. So I think it's inevitable. I can't wait for it to happen. But it's exciting. It's the fact that it's a possibility, the fact that we can sit here and you and me can have a conversation about, this should happen. That's what I want. I want people talking about it. I want the UFC to go, do you know what? That's a good idea. Let's do it.
My good friend PT Carroll spoke to you before the fight, wrote a great piece for RT Sport, and I thought it was one of the best pieces written about you at this time because it was honest and it wasn't just like some sort of puff piece. And what I thought was really interesting about it was the fact that you were talking about missing home, and even like the visual of that pharmacy below your apartment, the neon light and all that. You know, I could see that there's things about home that may seem like just like nothing to the random person, but to you it means something. Do you feel like going back home to fight, to headline an event like that, is what is missing right now to develop that connection with the Irish people, because you're not living in Ireland, you're not training in Ireland, and they don't see you around town constantly?
I don't feel like there's anything missing. I don't feel like I'm starved of any Irish support. I get a hell of a lot of support from the Irish, and I know they were the ones that bought into my hype before anybody else in the world knew about it. They knew about it. It was the Irish MMA scene where I came up and people were talking about me and excited for my performances. And I cannot wait to bring the UFC back to Dublin, Ireland, because it's not that it needs that fire, but to get everyone excited, to bring that energy back to Dublin, to bring like people from all across Ireland to come to Dublin, to watch me fight and get excited for it and talk to their friends, their family and everybody. I feel like that will just kind of be that kick up the arse to get everyone traveling again and kind of get the band going everywhere around the world. And the Irish support the Irish, and flying that flag is important for us. And I just feel like we deserve this fight back. And now we've got a young man who's in the UFC, who's doing his thing. He's lighting up the stage. Why not do it in his hometown? Why not do it where he's born and bred? Why not bring that energy back to a place that's so special to me? And you're right, I do miss Dublin. I do miss Ireland. I sit here and I get emotional with Layla when I sit down. I'm like, oh, mate, don't talk to me about it. I see a photo on my phone, and you're right, that little pharmacy light at nighttime, it brings my energy back. Even just at nighttime, we used to leave the window, the blinds open and the curtains open to just see the buses go by and just the lights. It was, that place will always live in here, and it will never, ever, ever go away. And even thinking about it now, I get a little bit emotional. It's special, and I do miss it.
Yesterday, Conor tweets, Ian Garry was incredibly impressive this weekend, fully immersed in it all, enjoying every second, willingness to engage/commit, the potential for another quote-unquote future Irish MMA UFC champion rose by a real nice margin this weekend. Congrats, Ian. Keep going, brother. Doesn't tag you in the tweet. So somehow, like, how do you find this? I mean, I'm sure a million people send it to you, But how do you find this, and what is your reaction when you see this glowing praise from Conor once again?
So we only flew back last night, and my strength and conditioning coach sent it to Layla, and Layla said, "Ian, come here quickly." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right." I had a look at it. I was like, "Oh, sick."
Yeah.
It's obviously phenomenal. Like, no matter what, like, he says about me or anything to do with like my career, it's always going to be amazing. I mean, I got a fucking tattoo on my arm because of the guy to symbolize like the whole weekend. Do you know what I mean?
When he called you a little daisy,
special.
right?
A little fucking daisy, yeah.
Yes.
Which basically means you're a little star.
Right.
And that just summed up the MSG moment, week, environment, everything about it. It was the perfect way to kind of sum it all up, was that a little fucking daisy. That's why I got a tattoo. But to have the guy who's done more than anyone for this sport, like, he has changed MMA. He's brought more eyes to the sport. Do you know what I mean? He holds all the records in regards to pay-per-views and just like weigh-ins. Having 15,000 people that are weigh-in just to watch a guy stand on a scale is ridiculous. But to have him say something about that in regards to me is phenomenal. And he's not wrong. Do you know what I mean? I am going to be a champion, and it is inevitable. I know that. And the fact that even he's seeing that now, it's awesome. It means everybody else has seen it too. And I know how good I am. I know how good my potential is, and I'm going to get there. And I promise everyone that, like, it's going to happen. But it's just, it's insane. I mean, I can't wait for me and him to get on a card together. Whenever he's back, that'll be massive for the Irish as well. That'll be massive for me. It'll be a dream come true to share a card with the guy who inspired me to kind of do this, to follow my dreams. And I've always had a violent mind and a way to want to show that off. And MMA is that perfect place for me.
How often are you speaking behind the scenes these days?
Not much.
Okay.
Not much. I'm off my phone quite a lot. Something that I want to focus on in life is being more in the moment. I feel like we get swallowed up by our phones a lot lately. So like I've turned off like notifications, messages, DMs, everything on all platforms, because what happens is you see a notification, you pop on it, and then you get lost in Instagram for 20 minutes. You're like, I've got a family, I've got people I want to spend my time with and enjoy it. And I feel like that just, it swallows me up a little bit. And that's what it's designed to do. It's very well done.
Right.
And it's just become normal. So for me, it's like, for me to grow and get better, my mind needs to be free and it needs to think. And this weekend alone, I've already messaged everyone being like, right, here's where I'm in the moment. I feel these feelings so strongly. Henry, we need to do this. Coach Strout, we need to do this. I messaged my strength and conditioning coach, said we need to do this. And I'm already on it again, thinking of what's next, how I can improve, how I can get better, because perfection doesn't exist, right? Perfect will always be more perfect. And I always want to get better. And that is where my mind is always on. So it's exciting. I
know you're with the team in South Florida. By the way, it's not Sanford anymore, right? It's Killcliff MMA. Is that the new name?
Apparently.
Okay.
When I'm on fight week, I don't know what's happening. And I was told about this. And I'm like, okay, sweet. I know nothing of this. But I guess it is Killcliff MMA, yes.
All right, fair enough. But any plans to go train with Conor now that he's back?
What do you think?
But have you guys talked about this? Like, hey, come over, come to the gym, come to Monaco, come to wherever I am. Let's roll.
I will travel the world to go train with that man, to pick his brain. I've said this. I was blessed to go train with Bass Root and Wonderboy at Karate Combat, where Layla was working. And she sorted that out. She was like, I've got a training session sorted for you. And she was like, into a Bass and Wonderboy. I'm like, unbelievable. And to pick their brains and to just take one thing from each of those guys and add it to my game would be massive. And there's stuff that I learned from them. Now, to go and train or even speak and pick the brain of a man who inspired me to do what I wanted to do and has, like, who was vicious in that octagon, to understand and speak and just get to figure out and pick his brain would be phenomenal. Like, we have a mirror in our room, and on it we use a little marker and we write stuff. And one of the things that's wrote on that mirror is venom, which is what one of Conor McGregor's voice notes after my MSG fight was. It was like, go with venom. Like, everything you've got, put it into the shots. He's like, combinations. He's like, how does a combination start with one single shot and throw it as hard as you fucking can? And I like that. And this fight, I remember, like, I spoke about it so much. I have a violent mind. I want to show the world that violent mind because it's beautiful. And the way I do it isn't about hitting someone once. It's about a combination. It's about 1-2 head kick, low kick, knee. It's about that beautiful combination of where you go, how did he do that? That's what I want. And I want blood pissing out of all angles of someone's face. I want broken bones. I want broken noses. I want it all. And that for me is, I feel like just speaking to the man alone, I could get that. So yes, I'd absolutely love that to happen.
When do you want to return?
Do you know what? This is the first time I don't know when I want to return. I mean, my shins are a bit beat up, but that's because I was checking kicks and kicking some calves. That's all right. I'd love to return late this year, early next year. Obviously, I've got a baby on the way, and that is my main focus right now because my family deserves that. And it has been very fight, in. And I want them to have I want them to have my time, what they deserve from me, because I have got a very forward-thinking mind, and it's like, right, what's next? But I want to travel with my family. I want to enjoy and experiences all these beautiful places that we've been to, and I want to sit down and live in the moment with them and make sure my wife gets everything she needs and make sure this little baby is happy and healthy, and then travel the world. I want to go to Brazil to see my wife's family and just kind of make those connections because I haven't been and haven't met them all in person because of COVID and just a busy schedule. So I want to travel and I want to grow and I want to learn. And I'm excited for it all. But Errol, you know me, I'm ready. Like, I will always be ready. I'm a fighter. I'm a competitor. It's what I do. And I could be tempted to come back whenever. And I know my wife is always the biggest supporter of me, and she'll go, yeah, do it. So yeah, we'll see.
I'm wondering
plenty
if
of options. Whenever the next big pay-per-view card is, put me on that because I'm Mr. Pay-per-view now. Yeah,
you are three for three. I was thinking maybe MSG. You come back for the second time in a row. MSG in November is historically when they do it. By the way, when is the due date?
October 17th.
Okay, so that is
We're
close.
doing October. Yeah, and that's why. That's kind of like it's.
Yeah,
you know,
no, I get it.
They need you. Yeah, they need you. They deserve that time, and she needs me. And if I'm in a fight camp, my mind will be on so many different things. Where it's like I just want it to be on her and give her everything I possibly can to make this pregnancy as good as it possibly can be. Because she's awesome with me on fights and fight camps and everything we do, and just in life in general. She deserves nothing from me but to be there for her, and that's what I want. And my baby.
By the way, did I screw up? Like on the screen here and everything. Should it be Ian Machado Garry now?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it should be. Yeah.
All right. So that's our bad.
I was in the PI. I was doing recovery. I was in the hot tub, cold tub. I was listening to your live where you were going through the predictions. Good man, put me in your picks. You'll never lose if you have me in your picks. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes.
It's just silly for anyone not to put me in it. But I remember you speaking about the name.
Yes.
Saying, I don't know what it is. Basically, there's a very deep story. And one of the guys, I don't know who it was who said it to you out of the two guys, but he said, like, listen to the comms next time. Which is funny. I had a laugh at that. But basically, Layla has a kid in a previous relationship.
Okay.
And obviously we're pregnant. I don't want those two little boys feeling like they're separated in any way, shape, or form. I took the name so that the little boy that is in a previous relationship feels connected to me. And he feels connected to my son, which is his brother. And we're all one big happy family. I don't want it being my son and her son. I want it to be our sons. And that's what it's about. So it's an important thing for me. And I do want it to be like that because then eventually when, like, obviously the bigger I get and the more I fight and he's going to be going, whatever he describes me to his friends as, I want him to have the same name as me so that he can live in that moment and enjoy it and be like, oh, that's my buddy daddy or whatever it is that he says.
I love it.
That's what I want him to be able to have that experience because that's important for me. We're a family. He lives with us in Florida. I mean, his dad lives around the corner from us. His dad's my nutritionist. We're all one big, happy, traveling family. And we do it right. And it's important for me. And that is the main thing. So when my name is called out, I don't want it to be Ian Garry. because I'm going to have a little boy who's going to have Garry as a second name, and I'm going to have another little boy who doesn't have Garry as a second name. So if I have Ian Machado Garry and both of those boys have Machado in the name, then everything is connected. And that, to me, is the most important thing.
Man, that is beautiful. Much respect, my friend. Much respect. And from this point forward, it will always be Ian Machado Garry. I'm sorry that it's not this time.
Don't apologize to me now. This is the first you've heard of it, and you could never understand it, but now you will.
It's a beautiful thing.
That's different, right?
Oh, beautiful.
It's
I love that.
Popular in Brazil, apparently. How like to travel, like to find like the family trees. Like you take your mother's maiden name and your father's name, and you connect them. So that it'll always kind of go. And that for me is massive. It's like, this is one big family and we travel the world together and we do everything together. And the success I have means they get it too.
I love it. Ian, a pleasure as always, my friend. Congrats on the win. 3-0 in less than a year in the UFC. Incredible year for you. Good luck now in the final stages. This is the best time. You will remember these days forever. So good luck to you and Layla. Appreciate you always coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it so much, Errol. As always, you've been a massive supporter of me, and I will keep bringing it for you. Don't you worry. Keep putting me on your bets, and you won't lose, right?
I appreciate it.
Thank you to all the fans. Thank you to everybody. I appreciate it.
All right, talk to you soon, Ian. There he is, Ian Machado Garry, who is now 3-0 in the UFC, 10-0 as a pro.